I end up pinning Kayla using a judo side control pin called a kaysa, then crucifix, and proceed to slap the crap out of her, like Combat Jiu Jitsu style. After watching this Jiu-Jitsu rolling commentary, you'll better understand the UFC fight nights and how MMA techniques can help you in the most statistically realistic self-defense situations. In this training round, I'll explain techniques from Judo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, and Muay Thai kickboxing, and how these techniques relate to self-defense in a street fight. Kayla and I will also be grappling with slaps. The turtle diving clinch is a jiu-jitsu self-defense technique used in MMA fights. Turtling is called a guard in Muay Thai kickboxing. During a fight, guarding your head allows you to more safely close the distance. The clinch position decreases the force of strikes because distance is required to generate striking power. MMA fighter Savage Sam, Samantha Ayala, generated so much force with this spinning back fist the impact broke her arm. Seeing birdies and nearly knocked out going into the next round, I had no clue what hit me. To be brave in life is to run towards what you fear. In MMA and self-defense, there are two safe places. Open the door and get out, or if you're locked inside an MMA cage, dive and clinch. In Judo, anything starting with an O means major, like, oh my god, I'm flying through the air. Think, oh, go, shi. We're grappling no-gi, which means we are doing no-gi judo throws. Judo takedowns during this roll are converted into no-gi takedowns used in MMA by converting gi grips. Collar and sleeve grips translate into head control and arm hooks, respectively. A statistically significant majority of self-defense situations happen within a home with somebody you know. Unless somebody's trying to save money by setting the thermostat to colder than a witch's tit in a steel bra, jackets aren't being worn. If it's a real party, you're going to be fighting in birthday suits. Judo is the art of striking your opponent with the earth. An ippon in Judo is a full send with 20 seconds of pinning or a finish. Think UFC Ronda Rousey throw and armbar. That was Olympic level Judo.
I'm so fucking sick and tired of the Photoshop. Show me something natural like Afro picture pride. Show me something natural like ass with some stretch marks. Still I take you down right on your mama couch in polo socks. Ay, this shit way too crazy. Ay, you do not amaze me. Ay, I blew through from ACA. Obama just pays me. Ay, I don't fabricate it. Ay, most of y'all be faking. Ay, I stay modest about it. Ay, she elaborated. Ay, this that great poop on that AV on that TED talk. Ay, watch my soul speak. You let the meds talk. Ay, if I kill a nigga, it won't be the alcohol. Ay, I'm the realest nigga after all. Bitch, be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
I defend by moving off her hips. Avoiding hips by posting a hand is how the preacher's daughter, Holly Holm, was able to survive long enough to land the head kick of a Muay Thai champion. You know how many thousands of hours went into training that kick? The art of fighting is beautiful. Let's mix wrestling into the fight. I shoot for a single leg, which is a technique from wrestling, and Kayla defends with my favorite single leg counter, a sumigeshi, which is another judo technique.
I stay modest about it, ayy. She elaborated, ayy. This that great poop on that AV on that TED talk. Ayy, watch my soul speak. You let the meds talk. Ayy, if I kill a nigga, it won't be the alcohol. Ayy, I'm the realest nigga after all. Bitch, be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
Keep your head down while pinning in kaysa, or else they will escape by getting a leg over and using your far side underhook to do a shotgun armbar.
I'm the realest nigga after all. Bitch, be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
I end up pinning Kayla using a judo side control pin called a kaysa, then crucifix, and proceed to slap the crap out of her, like Combat Jiu Jitsu Eddie Bravo style. I let her far arm go, and then she proceeds to savagely armbar me. Kayla, I love you. That shit goes on so tight. If this were a fight, Kayla would have hyperextended my elbow joint. But remember, some people don't care if their arm is broken, like Savage Sam. Adrenaline is a hell of a drug. To guarantee safety, systematically break joints until a choke is achieved. The only guarantee of safety is if your attacker is unconscious. Them going to sleep means you have 5 seconds to hog tie them with some zip ties, Amazon link below. And if you choke them past them going to sleep, we're talking permanent sleep, okay? Like, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Kayla dive and clinches like a champ, and I use the overhook from the pummel position to complete a technique from wrestling called a lateral drop. Those takedowns you see from Valentina Shevchenko in UFC fights are Muay Thai sweeps from clinch. She's been taking Muay Thai fights since she was 12 years old. The champions of those martial arts, Muay Thai, wrestling, Judo, and Jiu-jitsu, to name a few, are the MMA champions in the UFC. And I'm betting double Olympic gold medalist and undefeated 15-0 MMA fighter Kayla Harrison will be the next dominant UFC champion. She's currently training with Amanda Nunes, who has serious knockout power. And Ronda Rousey is another Olympic judo medalist. One of the most misunderstood aspects of fighting is striking while on the ground. My first coach, J. Jack, used to train dogs, and he said, you teach the dog the technique first, then you get on the suit, have the dog do the technique like biting the arm, and then you add gentle face touches. The face touches represent distractions. In MMA, what you see here, these strikes are distractions. It's the same thing as training dogs. The technique needs to be there first. Look at this sweep. Strikes can serve as a distraction both for your favor and against you. Striking from inside the guard put my weight backward, which allowed Kayla to do the fan sweep. Striking distracted me and is the root cause of why I was swept. In an MMA fight, hitting somebody can work for you and work against you. Jiu-jitsu position and control first, then strikes. Now in a street fight, have you ever hit a skull or accidentally hit a pavement with a fist? Fists compared to skulls and pavement are weak. Statistically speaking, for self-defense, the crime that most occurs in streets and alleyways is robbery. According to the FBI, significantly down in occurrences, probably most likely because nobody carries cash anymore. If you look at the statistics, if you are going to be using self-defense against assault, it's equal amongst the genders. So if you're a girl or a guy, you have the equal opportunity of getting punched in the mouth. Here's a self-defense tip for street fights. Young Blood said it best to prevent a street fight in the hood, and I quote, "Don't start no shit, it won't be no shit. If you don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck." End quote. What Mr. Youngbloods is saying is that in 2022, according to the data from the FBI, the statistical root cause of street fights is not criminal malicious intent, but not having the perpetuity to be cool. Don't give people anger and motivation to fight. Doing that is basically saying a fight is wanted. Self-defense settings for unwanted fights and unwanted touching happens from the ages of childhood to mid-30s and is typically with a known person in a house or familiar building. The last time I felt unsafe walking at night alone on the streets past alleyways was when I had $50 worth of takeout in my arms, okay? I'm a husky kid at heart. Take the ring with the insurance. I can be cool about that, but try to take my food while I'm hungry. I'm gonna give it to you, but I'm going to be extremely disappointed. In catch wrestling, this position is called a stockade or reverse half Nelson. In Jiu-Jitsu, it's called a crucifix. This is the ultimate MMA fight finisher. If you get the stockade slash reverse half Nelson slash crucifix in an MMA fight and can keep this position, the ref will call the fight due to a KO. In MMA, when a fighter cannot intelligently defend themselves against strikes, the ref calls the fight and the fight finish is labeled as a KO or a knockout. This crucifix position takes away any chance for self-defense from strikes because arms are taken out of the equation. The key is the ability to hold this position versus a person fighting with motivation to escape. Adding strikes adds motivation for escaping. If you can hold this position as, let's say, a smaller female against a new muscular athletic white belt who still has an ego about being beaten by a woman, you can hold and get this position versus an athletic ego stallion outside of your weight class, then you can do it against somebody in your weight class when you're striking them in the face. If you finish the fight with a choke or an arm lock, the fight is finished due to a submission. In UFC 196, Holly Holm gets technically put to sleep or knocked out by the rear naked choke of Miesha Tate, who is a skilled wrestler. Technically a knockout, but jiu-jitsu submissions like chokes and arm locks are called submissions in MMA even if the person gets knocked out from a choke. She technically didn't submit by tapping. Holly Holm was still throwing hands while going out. Talk about time spent training.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Cooking up dope in the crock pot. We came from nothing to something, nigga. I don't trust nobody, grip the trigger. Nobody call up the gang and they come and get janked. Cry me a river, give you a tissue. Bad and bullshit, bad. Cooking up dope with a Uzi. My niggas are savage, ruthless. We got 30s and 100 rounds too. My bitch is bad and bullshit, bad. Cooking up dope with a Uzi.
If you know the origin of this takedown, let me know in the comments. This is a knee shelf there's a knee shelf in wrestling, but it's not this specific move. In jiu-jitsu, we call this a knee shelf takedown.
On my body, but my feet is in Bottega. Bitch, I'm getting money, give a fuck about a haters. It's a whole lot of money in this motherfucker. No broke shit that
Again, a savage armbar from Kayla taught me. Last time I rolled Kayla, I legit have PTSD. I put a hand up to defend the leg and ducked like my life depended on it, and Kayla laughed at me. Look how my chest comes up. I'm doing that to relieve the pressure. This armbar is on. Kayla can break your arm by elbow joint hyperextension.
my feet is in Bottega. Bitch, I'm getting money, give a fuck about a haters. It's a whole lot of money in this motherfucker. Can we run no broke shit, that broke shit get old. Can we run no hoe shit, these hoes get too bold. I'm allergic to that no shit, my wrist game on cold. I might pay my cool fight.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me like 5 times, and maybe, just maybe, I'll defend intelligently and keep my head down.
Bitch, I'm getting money, give a fuck about a haters. It's a whole lot of money in this
In MMA, there's the classic striker versus grappler fight. Here's the weakness of a grappler that a striker can exploit. In order for a wrestler to get a takedown, one key element is a technique called a shot. A wrestler must shoot in order to get a single or double leg. Here, I know Kayla is trying to shoot in for a single leg because I know her game, so I uppercut with a gentle slap to let her know I know that she's going to shoot. This is much nicer than what was done to me when I was first learning how to double leg. When I was a white belt, a purple belt at the academy checked me with his hip. So it was like a hip strike. Have you seen that Conor McGregor shoulder strike? Like, try a hip strike to the face while trying to double leg. Exploitation of shots by wrestlers was made evident in UFC 239 when Jorge did a flying knee to wrestling legend Ben Askren and got the record for the fastest knockout in UFC history. Ben Askren wrestled in the Olympics, and Lex Friedman captured his wrestling essence with this beautiful side profile shot. Like, he looks like he should be on a like a 5000 BC piece of pottery around a small pond containing Egypt, Rome, and Greece. Jorge knew that Ben Askren was a wrestler, and we all know wrestlers shoot. If not out of the gate, then definitely as their default. When you're in an MMA fight, your 3rd round is going to look like your 10th round of training. Bloody and beaten, you're going to regress to what you know. A beaten wrestler will most likely default to shooting. They will shoot for a single or a double leg because of calculated aggression or of desperation. A grappler will also shoot to get a boxer down to the ground ASAP. Everybody wants to pull everybody into their game. They want them in the deep water where they can swim and their opponent cannot swim. Self-defense tip from this MMA principle: come over to my place, come to my waters where I know I have zip ties under my bed. Amazon link below.
And playing basketball, but my bitches is all stars. Da Vinci on my wrist, cause I'm richer than most broads. Yo, niggas bitches tripping and send them a postcard. I put on my jewelry just to go to the bodega. And I keep it with me just so that I'm feeling safer. Fendi on my body, but my feet is in Bottega. Bitch, I'm getting money, give a fuck about a haters.
It does take time to create these videos, and I do enjoy doing it. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed. It's like a virtual hug. And if you're new, I welcome you to join the family. Now I'll play the entire roll with minimal edits to help you see these jiu-jitsu techniques in real time. Jiu-jitsu grappling with slaps is how you would train for an Eddie Bravo invitational only combat jiu-jitsu tournament. If you're like me and didn't get an invite from the popular jiu-jitsu kids, do something cooler and take a smoker match. Speaking of popular, thank you for subscribing. Again, I believe this channel is now up to 4 subs. Besides, Eddie Bravo's rules don't allow for open hand strikes during stand-up, only while on the ground. And you know, Eddie, no hand strikes during stand-up, like, it would be a lot cooler if you did. If you're interested, I'll link a video below of a jiu-jitsu event with open palm strikes with an experienced fighter. It's a little more intense than CJJ, which is an acronym for Combat Jiu Jitsu, because it allowed palm strikes during stand-up. If you want to ensure you're training jiu-jitsu techniques for self-defense and keeping your jiu-jitsu realistic and honest, or even if you're interested in becoming an MMA fighter, no-gi rolling with some slaps is a perfect way to break into mixed martial arts, because you begin to understand how strikes can be strategically used.
This here with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys. I've been our goose. This shit way too big. When we pull up, give me the loot. Was off the Remy, had a back boost. Had to hit my old down, to duck the news. 4-hour lockdown, we made no moves. Now it's 4 a.m. and I'm back up popping with the crew. I just landed in Chase B mixes pop like Jamba Joe's. Different color chains, see my jeweler really selling fruits. And they joking, man, know the crackers wish it was a no. Someone said, this shit way too formal, y'all know I don't follow suit. Stacy Dash, most of these girls ain't got a clue. All of these hoes I made off records I produce. I might take all my exes and put them all in a group. Hit my essays, I need the booch. About to turn this function in a final room. Told her I been, you coming too. In the 305, bitches treat me like I'm Uncle Luke. Had to slot the top off, it's just a roof. She said, where we going? And I said, the moon. We ain't even make it to the room. She thought it was the ocean, it's just a pool. Now I gotta open, it's just a ghost. Who put this shit together? I'm the glue. Someone said, shorty face got me out the blue. Someone said, motherfucker, someone said. Astro. Yeah. Hey. She's in love with who I am. Back in high school, I used to bust it to the dance. Now I hit the FBO hours till I land, have me out like a light, ay, like a light, ay, like a light, ay, slept through the flight, ay, not for the night, ay, 767, man, this shit got double bedroom, man, I still got scores to settle, man, I crept down the block, made a right, yeah, cut the lights, yeah, pay the price, yeah, niggas think it's sweet, it's on sight, yeah. Nothing nice, yeah. Vegas in my ice. Jesus Christ, yeah. Checks over stripes, yeah. That's what I like. That's what we like. Lost my respect. You're not a threat. When I shoot my shot, that shit wetty like on Shaq. See the shots that I took. Wet like on Brooke. Wet like on Lizzie. I be spinning valley circle blocks till I'm busy. Like where is it? They keep that on like I say, you know this shit is tight, yeah. It's absolute, yeah. I'm back with proof. It's lit. Got Ferrari, Jamba Juice, yeah. We back on the road, they jumping up, no parachute, yeah. Shorty in the back, she say she working on the glutes, yeah. Ain't by the book, yeah. It's how it look, yeah. Got a check, yeah. Just check the foots, yeah. Pass this to my daughter, I'ma show her what it took. Baby mama cover Forbes, got these other bitches shook, yeah.
That real ass ain't keep your nigga home. Like I do it fast, real fast, fast, fast. Singing my old song, yelling ass, ass, ass. Babies beating, trying to beat me, then they crash, crash, crash. Still 100 like the number on my dash, dash, dash.
She like I do range, keep on doing that, keep on doing that, bitch working the back, I know you don't like me, you wanna fight me. You don't want no problem, let your party, don't invite me. I don't worry about you niggas, bitch, I talk about me. Always talk about me cause you looking for the clout. T6 Nina, the 9 Nina, riding in a 2-seater with 2 Ninas. Baby got the Aquafinas, cocaina, smoking on that OG Reefer, no TMZ,
Forgiatos on the bitch truck, make a French fuck, so she could get you now. She let my friends walk, star shining in the Rolls Royce, ain't got red cuts. Wait, hold up, nah, I still don't give a fuck. Vroom, vroom, keep up, vroom, vroom, yeah. You the type of nigga that I never wanna be like. You the type of bitch that will never get a reply. High hater, by hater, vroom.
you like I do range, keep on doing that, keep on doing that,
That real ass ain't keep your nigga home. Yeah, eat a cookie monster. He a slave to this pussy, call me monster. Real wet, I said slurp it like it's pasta. They get nervous when it's Nicki on a roster. Somebody usher this nigga into a clinic. My flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic. I write my own lyrics, a lot of these bitches gimmicks. They study Nicki style, now all of them want mimic. Talking about snitches when it's snitches in your camp. Never stand alone, you always itching for a stamp. Me, I'm still money, this is light up like a lamp. They gon' have to send their best fighter for the champ.
watch.
I got them, Mary, I'm popping. They keep hating, but still watching. Check the boards, I'm still topping. Bust down a plain chain, I got options. It's a bunch of mini me's, I'm the one they mocking. Showed you how to get a bag, now you going shopping. When I come out, all the sneak bitches start plotting. When I come out, it's the sweet bitches start mopping.
Like I do range, keep on doing that, keep on doing that, bitch working the back, watch, got it,
Like I throw it fast, real fast, fast, fast. Singing my old song, yelling ass, ass, ass. Yo, nigga, home.
Thank you so much for watching. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, love you. Bye.